I've watched some speeches recently in which my fellow students have taken one side or another to determine what element of a speech is more important, whether it's delivery or preparation or one of the other five ingredients. It's my thesis that all these elements matter, and that, like a link in a chain, if one of them is not properly prepared and delivered upon, the entire speech is in jeopardy. Conversely, a speech that runs on all the elements consistently and powerfully is a memorable speech. And I'll introduce you to some of those speeches in a moment. When a speech is delivered without all cylinders, disaster can happen. And I know that because I delivered such a speech. One that I left out key elements. Some years ago, I was asked to speak to an entire school district, K through 12, a handful of schools, elementary, middle school, and high school, all the teachers, all the principals, because I'd been seen and quoted on a video at a news conference. So I got my 30 seconds of fame. Now, I thought I had it. I didn't have to prepare because I knew what I was talking about. This was my topic. I'm an expert on it. I can always do a few minutes. I was wrong. I started off well. My jokes went across well. I had the audience really coming and going, but I forgot some of the basic elements. Because I did not plan, I did not give them the roadmap. And so I made point 4 and then point 3 and then point 7 and point 1. I was all over the map. And even though I made some good points, and even though I had them laughing at certain points where they were in agreement with what I was saying, the entire presentation together was a flop. And at the end, the presentation was met with tepid response. I knew it going along, and I used my best presentation skills to deliver a good speech in spite of not having prepared, and everybody knew it. I was a fraud. I was exposed. I did not prepare. A couple of days later, I got a letter from one of the people who had been there, and that's when it drove it home. The man sent me the letter, said, you know, a good public speaker does 3 things. He tells you what he's going to tell you, he tells you, and he tells you what he told you. You should try that sometime. I was beside myself. He was right, I was wrong. It's something I'd have to live with. I'm trying to do better, as you can tell. Conversely, a speech that really does well, the speeches by Lincoln for the Gettysburg Address, or I Had a Dream speech by Martin Luther King Jr., or We Have Nothing to Fear But Fear Itself, with the inauguration of President Roosevelt. All of these speeches were not only well written, they were powerfully delivered. One in as little as 280 odd words, one in 1900 words, one in 1700 words. And yet they're still in the record books today as some of the most powerful speeches ever delivered. I'm sharing this with you, even though it's somewhat embarrassing, because to make my point that the speeches that are prepared and delivered and have resonance with the audience will last, and the speeches that were written and conceived and beautifully prepared and not delivered well, not practiced, will die. What happened to me, I don't want to have happen to you.